Welcome back to Big Apple Hockey for another episode of The Final Buzzer. I'm your host, John Filkowski. Find me on Twitter at 92in82. Yell at me, talk hockey with me, ramble about other stuff. I'm always talking hockey on there, so if you want good conversation, there's a place to go. I'm always on there. But we are back with another episode of The Final Buzzer tonight after the Rangers put up a big offensive game against the Ducks, but kind of porous defensively. We're going to talk about that in a bit as well, but it's becoming a concern. It's becoming a concern, and I've already seen the comments in here from a lot of you guys, and you're right. Mike talking about how they lost focus a few times tonight. Lou, just some gaffes. Domination from Jack, where he says, but they were defensive lapses. They were bad. Hey, Osberg and Davey, so you both. But this is actually a good one because if you guys remember the season previews, I said that I think that Trocheck has a chance to be the most disappointing player because he was going to have trouble clicking with Panarin. It could take time for someone to click like that, but he's playing well. So, but before we go straight to the Q&A and everything, you know what time it is. You know what's coming. So let's get on with it. If I can find it, that is. That'd be great. So, I would say this is kind of a microcosm of tonight's game. I absolutely agree with this, Davey. I think when you're dominating like that, sometimes you are prone to losing focus, and that's where a lot of these gaffes happen. So I think that really sums up everything. Hey, Rick, what's going on? What's up, Maddie? I see you, by the way. But sloppy. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. So first thing is let's talk about the good stuff. But this comment right here, that's it. They're scoring a lot more, but they're also giving up a lot more. And you know what? You figure with the defense and the way that they were going to mature with Lindgren and Fox being a year older and Miller as well turning a corner. You figured it would just be they would go into shutdown mode, but I mean it's kind of been the exact opposite, really, to tell you the truth. I'm kind of disappointed with the way that they've played, to be honest with you. So they haven't all looked that great defensively. I don't think we're really missing Vetrano. So, and yes, Matt, I posted this on Twitter before, but this is Glass Bangers. It says hockey, kill them all on it. Here, let me get rid of the comment. Hockey, kill them all. So it's a mashup of Metallica's Kill 'Em All album, and it's from Glass Bangers. Glass Bangers does awesome hockey shirts. I have a couple of Stranger Things shirts from them. I have my Long Live the King shirt that I sometimes wear on these is from them. I have Hellfire Hockey Club, and then have Hawkins High School Hockey in gray. It's pretty cool because I love Stranger Things. So, yeah, Glass Bangers has some really, really cool friggin' hockey shirts. Great references. So, I do agree with this from Matador. Power play is downright dangerous. Absolutely, we'll talk about that. So, totally agree with you here, Sean. Would love taking the W, but they got to clean that up. It's bad. So, I would agree with this too. Anyone who thinks that Trocheck is a major upgrade over Strome needs to have their eyes checked. I think Vinny just showed tonight that he's clearly a better player. Clearly. And if you didn't know that by his 30 goals, 70-point season a few years back with Florida, man, I don't know what to tell you there, but Trocheck's been a better player for a while. So, but let me get into the bullet points that I have here, just some focal points that I wanted to talk about. Zibanejad and Panarin, the 4-point games. Artemi Panarin leads the NHL in scoring right now at 10 points. 10 points through 4 games. It's the best start in Rangers history for the first 4 games of the season. They're just amazing right now, these two. They are playing at MVP caliber levels, the both of them. I mean, Connor McDavid has 5 points. He's only played 2 games. Sidney Crosby, I'm not sure. I know he had 6 points entering tonight, but I don't know how many he actually had tonight. I might have to actually, you know what? Let's do a little research, actually. Let's see. Crosby had no points tonight. So, yeah. Malkin had 2 goals. Crosby with 0 points in that game, so he's still stuck at 6. But Panarin is at 10. He leads the NHL in scoring right now. That's nuts. Scoring at over 2 points per game. Could this be the year that Artemi Panarin breaks the 100-point mark? Because it would have been in 2020 if not for COVID. So, and Mika Zibanejad. Right now, he's got to be my early favorite for the Selke. He's got to be. He's playing at another level defensively right now. He's doing things all over the ice. There's a step in his game that I have not seen this early in the season at any season since he's become a Ranger. He's never had this type of start to a season. Like, he had that great game against Ottawa in 2019-2020 and the good game against Winnipeg, the 2019-2020. But so that's a big thing for him to go through the first 4 games at this type of pace. And MVP votes, I mean, you could give MVP votes to Zibanejad right now, Lou, if you wanted to. You could. I mean, I could see it. He's playing two-way hockey at a very, very high level right now. I mean, he might not get the Selke because he's not one of those name brands where he's up in the Selke voting every year, like high up. So that's something that it's something to keep an eye on, I'll say. It's definitely something to keep an eye on because he's playing great defensively, and I think he's absolutely deserving of it. It's just a matter of whether or not he's actually going to get it, and I know how the voters are, and that's a reputation award. So let's hope that Mika Zibanejad continues to keep up this type of play at both ends of the ice, at each level for each respective end of the ice, and he'll be in the Selke voting hopefully at the end. So, but this is actually a great point here. How many athletes have done what Mika's done in this sport? Come to New York as an obscure, meandering player and blossom into a superstar right in front of our eyes. Not many that I could think of. Mika Zibanejad was a 6 overall pick in 2011. 1 pick behind Ryan Strome. Islanders took Strome at 5. Ottawa took Zibanejad at 6. And Zibanejad went to New York. And, I mean, even in his first couple of years in New York, 17 and 18, he wasn't somebody who would put up a lot of points. That 2018 season is, it was a good season for him because it was a step in the right selection. Brassard was not at 9 in 2011. Brassard was taken in 2006. So, and he was taken by Columbus, I believe, at number 6. I think that draft went Eric Johnson, Jordan Stahl, Jonathan Taves, Nicholas Backstrom, Phil Kessel, Derek Brassard. 7, I think, was Peter Mueller. 8, I think, was Kyle Okposo. So, If I remember the 2006, it certainly wasn't Alexander Daig. No, that was number 1 overall in 1993. And he ended up being a gigantic bust because he was hyped as the next one and just did not come anywhere close to it. Motivational problems. But back to Mika. The thing with Mika Zibanejad is that he didn't take his off-season regimens seriously, and he admitted that in an interview. And I believe it was David Quinn that told him that he had to change how he viewed his off seasons. I think it was Quinn and Rangers management, and Mika Zibanejad came in and started taking his off-season off-season training more seriously, and that ever since then he's taken off. He's clearly a different player. So still can't believe Sanguinetti didn't work out right. No, I can, because he threw up in like the first day of training camp under Tortorella. That was the end of him. That was just, you knew you were out of shape at that point when you throwing up like that. So, but we'll get back to other stuff here. Top 6 dominated tonight. The second line was great as well, if you want to call him the second line, because a mutual of mine on Twitter pointed it out. He's like, the Rangers have 2 first lines. And you know what? You could say that. So the young kids are fitting in very well on those top 2 lines in Alexis Lafreniere and Kaapo Kakko. They both had goals tonight, the 2 of them. And Kaapo Kakko had one of his very best games of his career. I know he had only had the goal, but he just made so many good plays in the offensive zone, protecting the puck along the board, cycling the puck. It just incredible game from Kaapo Kakko. Yeah, definitely not looking like busts at all right now. Definitely not busts. So the 2 of them just stepping into the top 6. Stepping into these roles. I know it's early in the season, but they look like they belong. And that's the sign that I wanted. You know what? If the points come, great. That's excellent. That means that's even better for this team. And that's big. So the progress is really what you want to see. When they look like they belong, that's when you know everything is right. So that's great. It really is great to see. Dallas and Winnipeg I'm watching right now in the background here, and Dallas just went up 3-1 on Winnipeg. And it just makes me think, what the hell were the Rangers doing Friday night? And I'm sorry, by the way, Friday night I was playing hockey, so I was not able to do one of these. I actually didn't get in until almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So late night hockey for me on Friday. And yeah, it was awesome. That was a good time. And I was absolutely exhausted. I did not do a damn thing Saturday. Probably should have done a stream Saturday, but I really was just on my couch and like it did not move. I'm not going to lie. So that's what happens when you start to get older and you try to do late night hockey for 3 hours and you're just out of it. And you played hockey earlier on right after work. And yeah, you played for like an hour and a half there too. And yeah, and Sean's right about this. Hellebuck was great. Sorry, I had major dry mouth there. But Hellebuck was lights out on Friday. I do agree with that. I was watching a lot of the game from the rink because I'd gotten to the rink early and did some maintenance on my stuff before I got on. So yeah, and they had the game on there. Hellebuck was just not letting anything in. The Hunt goal was an amazing goal, and it was going to take something like that to beat him, either that or a screen or a deflection or something. But Hellebuck was really good. Hellebuck looked like Igor. So getting back to everything with the Rangers here with tonight's game. Nope. Yeah, this one. Trocheck, better than Strome. Jeff, you said it before. Anybody who thinks that Strome is better than Trocheck, get your eyes checked. So, no, David, I don't do that anymore. Not anymore. Scarecrow the Fourth, yes. they can finally shut up about Kako because he's playing well. Let's hope this continues. But I made the prediction that Trocheck might end up being the Rangers' most disappointing player. And I'm going to have to eat shit for that one. And I will happily stuff my face in that plate of shit because he's just been awesome for this team so far. Awesome. I believe he had 2 tonight. 2 points tonight. I'm just going through the score here real quick. So Trocheck had the first goal and an assist. Let's see if he had anything else. I don't think he did. Yeah, no, he had a goal and an assist. And so I think that, and I think Trocheck has 3 multi-point games as a Ranger so far. And it's funny. I think he has 6 points in 4 games, and I think they're all they come in 3 of the 4 games. No, he has 5. Sorry, 5. So 5 points already in 4 games for Vinny Trocheck. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists. This is great. Great start to his Ranger career. He fits right in on that line. He looks great with Lafreniere and Panarin. I thought it would just take longer for a player for him to have chemistry with Panarin and whoever the other winger was going to be. But wow, this has come really quick. So yeah, this is a great sign for the Rangers. This was something that you were going to have to worry about. And like remember, I always said that if you were going to go get Strome, if you were going to go get another, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about that in a little bit, Sean. I think we all laughed at that one, but Jack, yeah, you're absolutely right. Compared to Strome, he can kill penalties, finish all Panarin's passes. He wins faceoffs. He's better defensively. He grinds down low better. He's better along the boards. Vinny Trocheck is a better all-around player. Ooh, sorry. Excuse me. But good for Ryan Strome, I will say that he got his nice ovation with this little video. But I will say that that's good for him. He deserved it. He was an overachiever as a Ranger. So you know what? Good on him. But I will say that they absolutely needed to go on from Strome and go with Trocheck because he's just a fit and he works. He works with Panarin and Lafreniere, and it's big that they have this type of chemistry this early because that's not something that everybody expected. I don't think the team even expected to have this type of chemistry this early. So they look great together, all 3 of them. Top 6 looks great together in general. Capo Kakko looks great with Kreider and Zibanejad. It's almost like they should have kept him there. Go figure, right? Not me. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? I know. I'm not an NHL coach, but whatever. And then, yeah, Frank Vatrano hits a power play goal. Yep, I had to get that one in there because Sam Rosen, we love Sam Rosen, but I can tell you right now, oh man, when he retires, it's going to be tough on all of us because the voice of many of our childhoods and a soundtrack of our lives it will leave us at that point. And I hope to God that like JD shows up to his retirement ceremony and he pulls like a rib on him and has a blooper reel of Sam's greatest bloopers, because that would be amazing. It probably won't happen, but it would just be so good. It would be so good. It would be so funny. So, and Sam was a good sport about it too when Joe corrected him. So yeah, I thought that was just hilarious. I was absolutely howling when I heard that. So I was like, what? I just freaking lost it. So, Keandre Miller and Jacob Trouba were solid aside from one bad play. And that was like, for me, Jacob Trouba had a really good game. And on the Lafreniere goal, right after that power play had ended, the power play 2 was out, the kids were still together, and Trouba was the point man on that. Trouba made a play to advance the puck further into the offensive zone and keep it in at the line. And Trouba made a great read to step up there and advance and keep that puck in. And he was really, really good on that, because the second thing he did on that play was he drove the lane. He took the lane to the net, and he caused havoc there by just being an option and taking a defenseman with him. And all coaches will always tell you to drive the lane, because it creates havoc and confusion for the opposing defenseman, because you force them to make a decision on who to pick up in front. And 50% of the time, they're going to take the wrong guy. And they took the wrong guy, and Alexis Lafreniere benefited with a goal from it. So I loved Jacob Trouba's play tonight. I thought he was really good. I thought Keandre Miller was really good. They made that one bad play, I believe it was on the third goal. Yeah, the third goal. The fourth goal was that Comtois, like, long distance one-timer pass goal. So that one was a little weird. But the third goal was the one where Miller kind of left his side, went across onto Trouba's side, and then Lafreniere didn't pick up the forward going down low for the open net. So just a little miscommunication there. Sloppy defensive play all around. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I like this comment from DP here. Heedle's made the biggest improvement. He doesn't get shoved around the puck anymore. So yeah, I really do like Heedle's play so far. I really, really do like his play. I think if you had legitimate scoring wingers with him, I think his numbers, he would probably put up like 40-something points on that line. I really do. I just think that he's playing at another level with another level of confidence that we've never seen. It carried over from the playoffs. Once he got into the playoffs, I mean, he had 8 goals all year, and then he had 7 in the playoffs on a line with 2 other kids under the age of 21. Like, that's incredible, man. That's incredible. So we're going to move on from these two. Yeah, and the kids were back together for a shift, and Lafreniere scores, just as we were talking about before. I mean, those three have some serious chemistry. Some serious chemistry, and I love it, man. I love it. I would love to see the day where the three of them are the team's second line, but you know what? We've got something good going right now with them two, the two wingers in the top 6, and then Heedle as the third line center. So we're going to take that for now. So that concludes all of the good.
That's good.
And now we move on to the bad. And I'm not going to say ugly for anything, but I do have some bad game defensively from Ryan Lindgren. He made 2 really bad plays that ended up leading to a goal. He almost turned the puck over in the middle of the defensive zone. Trocheck was coming back along the right side, kind of swooping around, stepping in for the defenseman, and he swooped around to the middle. Lindgren had a forechecker on him, and instead of holding on to it or dumping it out, he decided to pass the puck to Trocheck, who wasn't expecting that because the forechecker was so close to the two of them. And then he almost turned the puck over. Thankfully, it wasn't a turnover there. But then Lindgren gets the puck back, tries to rush it up the right side wall, and then turns it over, and that ends up turning into a goal. Like, yeah, that was, to me, that I thought that was offside. I don't know how that was onside, Where was the call there? Because you could even see that, like was it Fox? I don't remember who it was that pointed it up to the sky, and they were trying to call off sides there. That looked offside to me. I don't know why that wasn't reviewed. So, but yeah, I just think Lindgren had a shaky game. I thought he looked okay with the puck. Aside from that, aside from those two plays, he was with the puck. And then just in his own zone, he was just making a lot of bad plays, a lot of bad reads that I was just like, wait, what are you doing? So Ryan Lindgren, not his best game. He's usually pretty reliable, but this was definitely a game where, he would love to have a mulligan on. So bad game from him tonight, but he'll rebound. And then just this one has become a major concern over 3 games. You know what? Actually, I take that back. I don't want to say major, but it's becoming a concern, and it's becoming more apparent in each and every game. It's just the sloppy defensive play in their own zone. They score a ton of goals, and then they become this really loose and lax team, and they start giving up these goals left and right. The third period against Minnesota, the third period against Winnipeg was really bad. Even the second period and on in tonight's game was still really bad. Another bad third period. I mean, they're outscoring everybody in the third period, which is great, but they're also giving up goals. You got to stop giving up so many goals in the third period, and you got to stop playing this bad defensively. I don't know if Gallant's got to bag skate them again or something, but they got to pay more attention to their own game in their defensive zone. I don't like what I'm seeing overall team defensively. Just the forwards are missing assignments. The defenders are getting crossed up on certain plays. It's mental. It's not even a lazy thing for the most part. It's just it's a lot of dumb mental gaffes where you're just like, wait, what are these guys doing? Why is this guy here? I mean, like even on one of the goals, the one with that Miller and Trouba were on the ice for, where Miller, like I said before, came across his side. Like, why is he coming across his side? I mean, I don't know. And listen, I get it. Some people are not worried about them defensively. I think they need to stop relaxing, and I think that's a problem. Am I panicking over it? No, I'm not going to panic over it. It's just kind of annoying, and you know what? When you play against better teams, that's another thing. You know what? Great. I'm glad I actually said that, because they seem to play up to competition and then also play down to it as well. So when they play a team against, play against a team like Tampa, they're on point and everything's locked down tight defensively. And then they play Minnesota, who's a good but not nearly as good team. They're playing run and gun hockey. Winnipeg, who not really that great of a team, they're a bubble team, and they're playing like crap defensively. And then tonight, Anaheim, another bubble team, and it's focus. I agree. It seems like loss of focus, and I think Gallant will. I think Gallant will definitely address that. So that's got to be a concern to Gallant. But I think he'll correct that. I really do. So we'll do some Q&A here. I'll do some questions. I'm sorry, I just got to answer this. But I am taking a look. Yeah, and that's what I was alluding to, Mr. Fantastic. They were playing up and down into competition last year, and it seems like it's carrying over a little bit this year. And yeah, at times, teams in all sports do this. They do. So it's not just for hockey. It happens in all team sports. B-Rye, how am I feeling about VC? I like this preseason. I don't think he's been bad nor good in the regular season so far. I would like to see someone better. I would like to see Hedl with 2 better wingers. I really would, because I think Hedl would actually benefit from that. And I think that that third line could be a real good scoring line if you have two other legitimate wingers playing with Hedl. I would rather VC be on the team's fourth line, but we'll see what happens with that. And you know what? I mean, I would like to see Kravtsov come back, and I would like to see him play well. It's going to be tough for him to be able to convince Gallant to move anyone out of that lineup right now. I mean, yeah, and this is it, Jack. That's why I was saying I think that VC would be better off on the fourth line. I like him there. I do like the idea of this line, B-Rye, Hedl, Blake, Kravtsov. That's actually a great one for me. I think that could be a real good line together, especially with a guy like Blake, who really do like the banging of the bodies and everything like that. So, but yeah, that's like the biggest thing for me. So, I just wonder about Kravtsov, though. I really do. I just hope that he comes back and he plays well. I really wasn't impressed with him in the preseason. I really wasn't. I don't know about this, David. I don't know about that. I don't necessarily agree. VC's a better skater. I don't know if he's a better player. So, Goodrow has left a lot to be desired this year. Yeah, I would say that. I think you could get more out of him. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Love this shirt. It's friggin' sick. Just got it today. Glass bangers. Kravtsov, not sure if Kravtsov has the maturity for the NHL. Mr. Syntastic says. You could be right about that. You could. I wasn't impressed with Prochek in the preseason either. And look at what he's doing now. Boom. Chris T asking, what do I think the team is lacking? I would like more offense from the bottom six right now. And I disagree with you on Jones. That's the only thing I think I'm lacking. And I just want them to clean things up defensively. That's another thing. Yep, this is it. Tighten up defensively. They are scoring a ton. So if they continue to be consistent scoring, I don't expect 6 goals a game. I really don't. But you continue to score 3-4 goals a game and play good defense, you're going to win games. Yeah, VC, I mean, like I said, I don't think he's been good. I don't think he's been bad. I think he's just been there. It's all right. He hasn't hurt them. So, I don't mind VC. I would rather have him on the fourth line. That's just my opinion. Crab on the third could be good. He could get better opportunities. Yeah, I don't like the idea of him being on a fourth line if they're going to bring him here. It didn't do much for him in 2021 when he came over for those like 20 games or whatever it was. So Jones has done decent there. But yeah, I agree. I think Jones has played very well so far. Even with the early flaws of winning games, earning points will help us out in the long run once the team starts betting. Yeah, I would agree with this, Dave. Team is lacking a 6th defenseman. You don't trust Schneider and Jones against Tampa or Pittsburgh in the playoffs. Schneider's already proven himself in the playoffs. I don't know why you would not trust Schneider. Schneider's already proven himself. I get not trusting Jones, but I don't get not trusting Schneider. Chris T. Sammy Blaine needs to play 60 games. Yeah. Jack, an underrated part of Hedl's game has been the development of him being a quality forechecker. He's looked much better along the boards and back checks hard. Yeah, definitely. His board battle has gotten so much better over the last, I would say, almost 10 months, maybe eight months or so. Second half of last season on, you know what? I'll go a little closer. I would say the playoffs, really. So let's just say the past like 6 months. I mean, his play has gotten so much better. Oh, as a pair. Okay. All right. My apologies then. I misunderstood you, Mr. Fantastic. That's my fault. B-Rye, assuming Crab on the third line, who's on the fourth. Yeah, basically those guys. I don't think Carpenter should be playing. I don't think he's been any good. That's just me. David says he doesn't trust number changes. Bad juju. I don't think so. That's just me. Blay has never played more than 40 games this season. Yep. That's a fact. How did Igor do? Defense kind of abandoned him, Davey. Wasn't Igor's really his fault. The first goal was literally Lindgren caught no man's land and screened him. And then Vetrano just absolutely with a snipe through a screen. But I think Igor stops that shot if he sees it. I don't think he saw it. Best thing about Trocheck over Strome is he looks over his shoulder and he knows, where the puck is going. Yeah. He doesn't trust Schneider because he sees number 4 skating around and has Michael Delzato flashbacks. Yeah. I don't blame you for thinking that, but yeah, different defenders. We don't have to worry about Michael Delzato and whether or not he has browsers on his web browser. So, Tomas says, I think Jones has done all right, but he needs to focus on a defensive play. He gets caught too many times. I don't know. I wouldn't agree. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he's actually been pretty solid defensively. I mean, I'm surprised by his defensive play, how good he's been defensively. I'm not saying he's great defensively, but he's better than I expected him to be at this point. Ooh, Daniel Orr, point projections for Kako and Laugh this season. I would like to see Kako and Laugh each hit at least 40. If they continue to play like this and they stay in the top 6, I think 50 plus is possible. I think Lafreniere, there's a new level to his game that I think he's just going to break out. And he's just going to continue to take little tips from Panarin and just pick up little things playing with him. I'll tell you right now, just in my own playing experiences, that, when you play with somebody like that, you play with a player that's really good, you tend to pick up things. Even playing against that player, you tend to pick up things that they do. So that's, for me, that's key with Lafreniere, having him play with Lafreniere playing with Panarin. So, having a little Sam Rosen moment there, guys. Sorry. Kako's forechecking, his inability to win the puck down low has improved so much. He's become a different player. If the goals start flowing, yeah, this is it. Yeah, absolutely. If Igor stops that first goal, if he doesn't think it's offsides, you know what? The first goal was a shot through a screen, but that definitely should have been offside. I don't know how the hell it wasn't. I really don't. Jones has made a handful of mistakes, but so will any 22-year-old. Just growing pains, nothing alarming. Yeah, I'm with you, Jack. With you. B-Rye, yeah. Can we discuss the brilliant foresight to start Libor against Win? Why do they continue to give this guy chances? I don't understand it. I don't. He's not good. He's not an NHL caliber defenseman, yet they continue to play him for whatever reason, and I don't get it. I just don't understand it. To me, there's no reason to play this guy. It's none. You're not getting anything out of him. There's no trade value for him. He's past the point of being a prospect. Just move on. Move on. Could have went and gotten a better and experienced seventh defenseman. But Hayek wasn't the reason they lost that game, but I just don't see the reason to play him. He wasn't. I thought he was okay in the preseason. I mean, I didn't think he was great. I didn't think he was bad in the preseason, but again, it's preseason. And if he can't look really good against that type of competition, then to me, that's a problem. Yeah, B-Rod, you might be right about this, that they're going to keep forcing him into games. I don't know what the reasoning is, but I mean, he's just not good. There are so many other options out there that you could have went with for a seventh defenseman over these last 2 years, and just not good. So let me get rid of this banner here. Boom. Get rid of these because we're done with them for the night. So forgot to put these up. I have the ticker right there along the bottom. So, yeah. We'll go probably about, I would say, another 15 minutes or so. So just make sure you start to get your comments in. Let's see what's going on here. I know we've got a couple comments in, but I'm going to have the Manscaped banner up there. We'll get rid of the ticker for a second. Just remember, we are sponsored by Manscaped. I use all their products. I love them. Use code BAH for Big Apple Hockey for 20% off and free shipping. You've seen me pull up the lawnmower on there. I have some of their other stuff like the wipes and the toner and everything like that, and the sprays. They smell great. Great products. The lawnmower actually works, and I have to do a little maintenance there actually on the chest because my chest gets pretty hairy. But I love it. I've actually had that one. That's the old one that I have. I think they're on like the 3.0 or the 4.0 now. I think mine was the 2.0. So yeah, I've had them for a few years. I love them. But yeah, definitely give them a look if you're looking to groom yourself, and use code BAH for Big Apple Hockey for 20% off and free shipping. So definitely check that out. Yeah, this is a funny one. Miller and Mac to Tampa is the second worst. No. Chris T, it's not. I'm sorry. The two worst trades in Rangers history are 1A and 1B. And it's Middleton for Hodge, and then Zubov and Nedved for Robitaille and Samuelson. And those trades set back the Rangers by at least 5 years apiece, if not 10 years. Because the Rangers tried to keep 1994 alive after that, and they paid for it in the end. So. Oh, God, Dave. Oh, man. Wow. That's something else. But I like the honesty. So. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of these other comments. Daniel Orr, surely our deadline acquisition will hit defensive depth, particularly top six if keeps looking this good. Can't have Libor in playoffs and injury happens. I agree. I think they will go get a depth defenseman by the deadline. Mr. Fantastic asks if they keep playing Libor because he was a key. The Rangers demanded him in that trade. They were high on him. I know that they were very high on him because of his World Juniors. He was like a point per game 1 year in the World Juniors as defenseman, and they wanted him. So I just ended up being a bad pick, bad trade for them. They could have gotten some other players, and they didn't. They should have just held off and just waited to deal McDonough in the summer to more teams be available. So, might be top 15 worst in NHL history. Could be, maybe. I don't even know if that's necessarily the case. So yeah, and this is really it. It's Gallant just wants the seventh defenseman to be ready, and that's why they're going to continue to put him in there. So, absolutely agree with this. It's unfortunate, but that's how it's going to be. So, and then let's see here. Who do I think has taken the biggest stride so far? Wow, that's a good question, B-Ry. Right now, I've got to say Capo Caco because I think he looks like a completely new player. Like he looked good in the playoffs playing on the kid line, but he's been really, really good so far to start this season. And he should have a few more points than what he has right now. So I've got to say Caco. I think he's got 3 points in 4 games, if I'm correct. So I'm going to say Caco. What do you guys think? Put it down in the comments section below. I want to see what you all think. Who has the who's taken the biggest strides so far? And yeah, that Zubov trade was devastating. Yeah, that Zubov trade helped facilitate the Dark Ages. And Thylacine, yes, Pittsburgh also traded Zubov. Park for garbage goal, Phil. No, I don't agree with that, S-Flat. I don't. I don't like that trade either, just because Esposito was like way past prime. But Park wasn't exactly a spring chicken either. But I've got to say that that trade is not nearly as bad as the Zubov and Nedved trades and the Middleton for Hodge trade. The Middleton for Hodge trade was probably the most lopsided trade I think I've seen in NHL history. Middleton was one of the better players of the 80s, the late 70s into the 80s. And Hodge played, I think, maybe a full season for the Rangers, if that, and had like 15 or 20 points or something. That's just bad. Where do I rank the Artemi Panarin free agency signing amongst all time? That's something I would have to like really do some research on, Chris. That's a great question, but that's a really, really good that's a really good trade, a really good question. That signing's got to be up there as one of the greatest signings in free agency history for any team, I would think. Because thinking about it right now, you don't see big free agents like that hit the market that often. Like we've seen Tavares. Erik Karlsson was going to hit the market, but didn't. Stamkos never hit the market. He was going to be the guy that was going to be available. Ilya Kovalchuk was supposed to hit the market and didn't. He got traded. So, but yeah, that's a good question. Did I like Justin Braun last year? I thought he was okay. Had his moments, but overall kind of all right. If we didn't luck out in the draft, do I think the McDonough trade would have sent us back a few years? I don't know, because there's nothing in that trade that has actually come back to help the Rangers so far. Remember, Nils Lundkvist was really the last shred of hope for anything to happen out of that trade. And, he's now in Dallas. So We really can't judge anything in regard to that until we figure out what that pick ends up being and what that, who they take and what ends up happening in his career. So Dallas just scored another goal, 4-1 Dallas, power play goal. True here. So the Trouba situation was that he was traded for because the Rangers thought that they were going to need a number one defenseman to kind of help everything along in the rebuild. The number one veteran defenseman that could do all things. He had a 50-point season in Winnipeg in 2018-19. He was their top guy. He was their power play guy because Dustin Byfuglien was out. That was really like the end of Dustin Byfuglien. And the Rangers knew they were going to get Adam Fox, but they didn't know that Adam Fox was going to be what Adam Fox has become. So that, to me, that's the biggest thing about, trading for Trouba. Like, if he's on that top pairing, I don't think that top pairing is as good, but he probably puts up more representative numbers offensively, like 50 or so points. And we're not talking about him being an overpaid second pairing defenseman. We're talking about him being probably one of the lesser number ones in the league. And he's probably not like a legitimate number one, but he's a lower end number one, if you will. So Tomas says another reason why Hayek might be kept around is because he's liked in the locker room, has a friendship with Capo Caco. I mean, I wouldn't keep him around for that. Hopefully that's, not the case. Daniel Orr says Kako looks amazing so far. Lou picked Kako for his. Davey says Kako and Laffy. Capo's looked insane, but Laffy's also looked very nice. Enzo says, who gets more points this year? I'm gonna say Laffy. I think Laffy. I think Kako is a more defensively responsible player. I think Lafreniere is just more talented offensively. Our backup goalie actually looked decent last game. Halak, wasn't his fault they lost, but I think Halak will have better showings than that. Kako's playing like a man. No one can take the puck off of him. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. He's becoming a possession monster now. And that, to me, Kreider and Zibanejad have lacked that since Buchnevich left. Last year, they had trouble finding a third winger that could keep possession and cycle the puck down low along the boards with them. Kako's that guy. He shouldn't be leaving that line. Unless he absolutely plays like crap, there's no reason for him to be taken off that line. Zero. Matt agrees that it's Kako, but all three of the kids have made major improvements. Okay. I would agree with that. Zubov trade wouldn't have been as bad if Luke actually played like he did before and after he came to the team. Yes, David, you're absolutely right about that. But there was something about Luke Robitaille in LA. He didn't play well in Pittsburgh either. And he had Mario Lemieux there. He just played better in LA, and he had some real good years in LA even after Gretzky left. Like, I mean, in 99, I think he had like 30-something goals and like 80-something points. And LA was not that great of a team in terms of like roster in 99. So, yeah, I'm taking a look at these numbers here. So, comes back to LA in 98, 40 points, 16 goals in 57 games. Then in 99, 39 goals, 74 points in 82 games. 2000, 36 goals, 74 points in 71 games. 2001, 37 goals, 88 points in 82 games. And then he goes to Detroit as has a decent first year in Detroit. He's playing on their second line, 30 goals, 50 points. The year that they won the Cup in 2002. Played one more year in Detroit. 11 goals, 31 points, 81 games. And then 2004 goes back to LA, 22 goals, 51 points in 80 games on a really bad LA team. They were a bottom feeder that year. So Hossa, Chara, Eric, Stahl, only real good ones I could think of. I guess free agent signings you're talking about. I mean, Marian Hossa wasn't really a free agent signing. He was traded. He was traded from actually no. He with Chicago. Yeah, he was a free agent signing in Chicago. He was a very, very good one. So Chara was traded to Ottawa, but he was a free agent signing in Boston, and that ended up being a really good one too. Eric Stahl, I don't know which one you're talking about there. I guess Minnesota, when Minnesota signed him. I mean, he was good, but he wasn't that great for where he'd be an all-time. Oh, Gaborik was a very good free agent signing. Nowhere near Redman, but he was a very, very good one. So, Tomas, all three kids have looked nice. Heedle's creating and pushing the play, but yeah, I agree that third line would be non-existent. If the kids keep it up, it'll make it harder to make a trade for Patrick Kane. Definitely agree. Daniel Orr, I can't see fitting in Kane cap-wise. Yeah, that one's going to be tough, but I do think that they go after him. I do. Joe, what's up, Joe? Was Niedermeyer a free agent signing in Anaheim? Yes, he was. He was a free agent signing in Anaheim. He was not traded there. He decided to sign there after the lockout because he wanted to go play with his brother Rob and win a cup with him. And then 2 seasons later, they ended up winning it in 2007. So good to see the two of them win it together after in 2003. Scott and Rob had to hug each other on a handshake line after Scott and his Devils beat Rob and the Ducks in Game 7. So, what do I think the Rangers passed on a player that they should have gotten? You know what? They were this close to getting a deal for Steven Stamkos done in 2008, 2009. I would have loved to have seen how that worked. That would have drastically changed the direction of that franchise. The Joe Sakic offer sheet, not getting Joe Sakic and not putting the offer sheet higher up so that Colorado couldn't match it. That's another one that changed the organization. Not getting Jaromir Jagr in the summer of 2001. The same deal that they had, same package they sent to Pittsburgh. To Philadelphia for Eric Lindros, Jan Hlavich, Pavel Brendel, Kim Janssen, and the third rounder. The Rangers and Penguins basically verbally agreed to a deal to send Jaromir Jagr to the Rangers in the summer of 2001. Craig Patrick, who was fired unceremoniously years and years before that by the Rangers, reneged on the deal and pulled it back and ended up dealing him to Washington for Francis Kuchera, Michael Civic, Chris Beach, and Ross Lubashuk. And that ended up really hurting Washington there because they got nothing for Jagr. So just as good as Matvei Michkov, does he have a higher ceiling than Lafreniere? That's actually a good question. I think Michkov can be one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. With the way that they're talking about him, the way that he's progressed, he's going to be something special. Mac was also left-handed, and we had Lindgren and Shea, a few others at the time. Trouba was a right-handed one, and we really they really needed it. Panarin woke up and chose violence. Yes, Steven, he did. He definitely chose violence. Better Ranger, Panarin or Gartner? Panarin, not even close. Gartner was great, but Panarin's first year in New York, he should have been MVP. He was that good. Gartner was very good to him, and I loved Mike Gartner as a kid. Early on, when I first started watching hockey, he was one of my favorite Rangers. But Panarin has just been better. Just much better. And Davey, yeah, of course. Absolutely. Much better. Yeah, on pace for 113 points twice. And those shortened seasons really skewed the perception. You literally sent this same exact tweet to me, Steven. I think it was word for word. You said that. So, Hossa is signed for, yeah, that's what I said before. He was a free agent signing for Chicago. So, Drury and Gomez were good signings. I would say they were meh. I wouldn't say they were great signings. Can't wait to see Othman either. I hope to God that he's with the team next year. But you know what? If he has to play in the AHL for a little bit, I don't mind it. I'd just rather him be ready. I think Panarin will clips Messier as the greatest acquisition in Rangers history if this continues. Ooh, okay. That's a good one. That's an interesting one. But yeah, he would need 2 cups and a heart to surpass Messier. You're right about that, Christine. The interesting trade is that Jason Robertson for first for Chris Kreider at the 2020 deadline. Yeah, they could have moved Kreider a couple times. Would I switch Jones to play with Trouba? I think so. I think I could. I think I could do that. I like that. I do. I think I would move Trouba down a pair. You have the steady defenseman on the third pair, and then you have Schneider and Miller together. 2 mobile defenders that could really, work off each other. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Jones had 3 more minutes at even strength than Schneider tonight. Okay. That's interesting. How many more types of seasons did Mika has to? I think if you have 5 more seasons like this for Mika, I think we're talking about jersey retirements. Maddie says, if Sens are not in the playoff hunt by deadline, I would love for us to trade for Mott again. I could do that. If Zibanejad plays out his contract in New York, he'll been here for 14 years. That's close to jersey retirement. Yeah, I would agree with this. Othman and Riedel, I think, will be with us next year. I think VC's one and done, and Carpenter will be gone. I agree with this, Mike. I think Mika will play on his contract. He has an NMC for every year, but the last. I think Mika's staying here. I just think that he loves it here. I think he loves Chris Kreider. Chris Kreider is his very best friend. Now, off the ice, they are legitimately like this. He's staying as far as I would say. So, but I am going to wrap this up for tonight. Thank you all for coming on with me and talking some hockey. I think Thursday I'll probably do one as well. Just like I said, sorry I didn't do one for this past Friday. I was playing hockey. So, but I believe I will be doing one as well Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, another little extra nugget. Kayvon Thibodeau, for any New York Giants fans. Kayvon Thibodeau was at the game tonight. And if you're all Giants fans, you love Kayvon Thibodeau, there's your man. There's your young defensive end right there. So again, yes, thank you. Like, share, and subscribe, Mike, for everybody. Thank you, Mike, for bringing that up. I appreciate that. It's always better to do these after a win anyway. Yes, it is. It makes it a lot much better. But thank you all for joining on with me here and talking hockey. Love doing these. So again, be on the lookout for them. I think like I said, I think I'll do one Thursday. But definitely a big win tonight for the boys. They need to get back on track defensively, but you know what? We'll take what we can get. We'll take all the wins. So have a good night, everybody, and let's go Rangers.